Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing this fine Monday evening? Let's get in here and pray. Okay. I pray your Monday has been amazing. Mine has. Woo. And we're going to talk about it in a minute. Thank you, God, for being Jehovah Nissi, the God of the banner. You place a hedge of protection in front of me, behind me, and on top of me. You keep me safe by any means necessary. Psalms 91, you place me underneath your mighty wing, and nothing shall by any means harm me. No evil will befall me, neither will any plague come by my dwelling. 1,000 may fall at my left hand side, 10,000 at my right, but it shall not come near me. No weapon formed against me will prosper. It will form, but I have the breakthrough formula from Jesus, stove, and a Roomba. Why all three? God said, I'm asking everybody to come to the table. They want to sit to the table. Come on. I never gave parameters. I said, come as you are. Come on and sit down. We come on and sit down. We got a lot to talk about. And I walk in it instead of fussing about what it looks like, just saying, okay, 1:11 on the clock. Because there's so much to talk about. Honey, I had to catch myself today and start praising God. Jehovah Shalom, the God of the peace that passes all understanding. Woo! Let me tell you, Philippians 4, think on these things that are good and of a good report. And if I keep my mind stayed on you, you'll keep me in perfect peace. It don't make sense, but it makes faith. Because what I have faith in, I'm going to believe. And what I believe, I'm going to act on. And what I act on, I'm going to see the spirit in the spirit realm before I see it in this realm. Because this realm is dense and heavy, honey. And it's ruled by the collective, whatever the collective has going on, okay? Jehovah Sabaoth, the Lord, the God of hosts. You're here, you're there, you're everywhere. You are me and I am you. You placed this small all-spark in my heart before I even entered my mother's womb. God told Jeremiah in Jeremiah 1 and 2, he said, I knew thee before you entered your mother's womb. If God said it for one, he'll say it for everybody else. God is no respecter of person. God is not like man. God says what he says and he means what he says, okay? Honey. And so what does that mean for us? Okay, so God, because we all have a covenant with God, whether we know it or not. That thing that sits in you, that dream that won't stop, that's your covenant. Whether you know it or not. That thing that you just keep going with and you keep going back to. That thing you keep going to, that dream you keep going back to. And then God placed an aspect of himself in our hearts before we even entered our mother's womb. See, God is not an aspect of love. God is love. However, he placed a small aspect of himself in our hearts. And how you see it is based on how you use your love on an everyday basis. It could be a foot. It could be 3 feet. It could be 100 feet. It could be 1,000 feet. It could be bigger than that because it's based on Ephesians 3:20. God would do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think based on how we believe it. So based on how you believe in the love that's in your heart is how you're going to use it in the world. And that's how people are going to feel you before they see you. They're either going to feel the goodness of God or they're going to be like, well, they've been around him. Or they're going to say, what? Okay, it depends on you. Most of the stuff that happens here on earth depends on us. Whether we want to realize it or not, it depends on us. Jehovah Elohim, the God of gods. We made all this stuff to put between us and God. And God said, I don't have no problem with it because I gave you the idea for it. But don't you want to go to the creation before you go to the creator before you go to the creation? We keep running to the creation and God's like, come to me. I'll give you the wisdom. And when I give you the wisdom, now when you go to the creation, you have a word of knowledge. And while you have that word of knowledge, I'm gonna need you to sit in that. So when you get where you going, that can be you waiting on your confirmation of what I said. And if it don't line up with what I said, just get up from the table. And I'll send you to another brook. Because if God took care of Elijah at a brook with the ravens, and then he took care of him at another brook when he brought him to the widows, God will take care of us too. I told you the Bible is a bunch of allegories. It's stories, yes, but once you pay attention to the truth of the story, you understand. Be ready to rock and roll when God ready to rock and roll. And when it dry up, go on about your business. Okay. Because God just want a one-on-one relationship with us. Okay. Once we get that one-on-one relationship, We can move better. All right. Jehovah El Shaddai, the Most High God. God's name is higher than any name that is named on this earth or the universe. If you can, if it can be congregated in a sentence and a punctuation put at the end of that sentence, God is higher than that. Then if I try to think of something, I try to tell you God higher than that. Let's talk about it. It's going to be in a sentence or it's going to be in a paragraph, a few sentences with some punctuation. So God is higher than that. There's nothing we can do that God isn't higher than. God made everything. Okay. Jehovah Jireh, my provider. There is no lack. There's only provision. You're more than enough and you supply all I need. It may not look the way I thought it was going to look, but it's supplied. I'm worthy because I exist and I exist because I'm worthy. I was born of a womb of a woman. That's it. Because I exist, I'm worthy. There's nothing that God will withhold from me. God is my source, not the things on the outside of me. God will use people on this earth to bless me. See, the wealth comes from the north. As above, so below. What you're thinking is what you're going to receive. Okay? Not from the east, west, or the south. It will always be supplied supernaturally if I believe it. See, it's based on my frequency and my energy, which is key. If God is here and I'm over here, God said, come to me as you are. I get up, change my perspective to come to God. Every time I get up and go to somebody, I'm changing my perspective. Make sure it's worth it. And make sure they're in alignment with you. Jehovah Rapha, my healer. You heal my mind, my soul, my body, my spirit. You heal so much of me. Man, me and God had a time this morning in here doing this exercise. Woo, thank you, God. Jehovah Gamola, the God of the recompense. Ain't no getting even with people. Ain't no arguing with people. Why? They know what they did. You know what they did. Just send all that negative energy up to the Creator to be cleansed and purified. Excuse me, confirmation bird, and ask the Creator to send it back, cleanse and purify, send it back to the sender. No blocking their path, no stopping their path, no matter what they done. Why? We got cause and effect, sowing and reaping, and corresponding action, meaning every seed we put in the ground, word or deed, turns into a tree, whether good or bad. I live under the law of assumption that it's already worked out, and I don't have to stress about stuff. Everything doesn't require my response or my fight. I choose my battles properly and I leave it in God's hands. Ain't no fussing and no stressing me out. And so it will be, and so it be, and forevermore. I would just rather to go ahead and remove my energy from the situation instead of arguing with somebody for some. Anybody know what went down? Why I gotta do all that? Look in the description below to see a few items just for you. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. This is a one-on-one book with me and God. Me and God be having some one-on-one times. You hear me? What did it say? Learn, this is on page 35. Learn to ask others for help and receive help when it comes. No need to be embarrassed to need help. I made you that way. Remove the pride and ego of the lone wolf syndrome and ask for what you truly need. Hush your fuss, guys. Hush your fuss to get on the bus. Sometimes it hit you in your throat. Only got cat. And then my other books are Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those books are my shadow activity books. And what that means is you get to have fun working on your shadow. The other shadow workbooks I've seen that they were so serious and so to the point. And I was like, but we're dealing with our inner child and our inner teenager. We get to operate in a different view. So I was like, okay. So you get a word of knowledge, and then you get a word of knowledge. Then you also get a exercise. Then you get a shadow question, not so nice. Then you get a color page. God asked me to keep it between the age of 9 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the age of 9 and 10. By the age of 7, it is solidified. By the age of 10, it is really in there. By the age of 21 and 25, it is now your responsibility as an adult to work that out, whether through counseling, therapy, whichever way you choose is best for you. And then we have 4 pages. It's 22 chapters per book. We have 4 pages of drawing, sketching. You have 4 pages of drawing, sketching, doodling, whatever you want to do, because it's your book. Have fun. Write down your visions, write down your dreams. Because the closer you get to God, you start having stranger things moments, or X-File moments. You just start having moments to what if you told people that hell will be cocked to the side, so you kind of keep it to yourself sometimes. Unless you hear somebody else talking about it, you like, okay. No matter what your background, because God really don't care about your background, okay? And don't forget about my other two books, Influence and Impact with Chris Voss, and Mindset Matters with Jack Canfield. Both of those books are already on the New York Times bestseller list. Go ahead and copy your copy. All these books I'm speaking about are on Amazon. No matter what your background, because God already knows who you are. He knows all the hairs on your head. And even if you shave your head clean, you still got some peach fuzz. And God knows every piece of peach fuzz, okay? Notebooks and journals for all, coloring books that help in meditating and recalibrating the mind, because ain't nothing like a grown-up with some crayons and a coloring book. You'll see the podcast with the Women's Leveling Up in May. It was fun. 3 magazines I've been covered in, September, October, and December. I placed a new link to my own personal bookstore. I'm excited about this venture. Why? Because I'm in charge of my own intellectual property. Even though a lot of my stuff is on Amazon, except my special journals. They're only on my store. There are some freebies there just for you. I added a link to the 105 Spiritual Laws, the 7 in the Kabbalah and the Initiate book, and 12 in another book. And I said, God is not the author of confusion. Did some research. It is 105. Disclaimer, even though we got 105 spiritual laws, we are no longer underneath the Mosaic law. Okay. That Mosaic law lived by the laws, and they had to kill bulls and birds and everything and cut them up in a certain way and sacrifice them. We are no longer underneath that time. When Jesus came, whether you believe he was an archetype, whatever you believe, that's on you and God. Okay. Okay, but when he came, this is what I know right here. If he wasn't real, why they go through so much work to take out the books of the Bible and to act like he didn't exist for control? They did a lot. If somebody didn't exist, you're doing a lot of work. It's like saying black indigenous people are not the real Indians when we were the first ones on every continent in every place we've been to, because we was the only ones for a long time. But I digress. So he gave us two paradigms, love and grace. He said, put up a boundary, all right, and you can love the unlovable. Love the unlovable. What that means is, I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy to you. I release you in love, and I go on about my business, and I let you go on about your business. And then the disciples said, how many times do I forgive my brother? 7 times? Jesus said no. 7 times 70. That's 490 times. It feels like that. Okay? And then it says, and then Jesus broke it down. He said the Lord's Prayer. I forgive me of my debts as I forgive my debtors. Basically, you forgive yourself first before you forgive anybody else. It's always you, then them. Okay. So basically, you break it down. You put up the boundary. You say what you said, and then you said, you know what, God, I forgive myself. I didn't know what I know now, and I forgive myself, and I don't hold myself in contempt for doing what I did. Because what we do is we take ourselves down to the base, and you're talking about, you should have known this, you should have known that. You didn't. You learning. You learning. Unfortunately, we don't learn certain things until certain things happen, and then we learn it. But the human side of us want to beat ourselves up, and that is not our responsibility to do that. But that's what we do. And then you forgive them. Why do you forgive them? It ain't got nothing to do with them. It has got to do with you. If you don't forgive them, you can't move forward. And if you can't move forward, your life can be removed from you. Okay? Just like the 10 Commandments, it's really, in grace. Grace is God's willingness to get involved with human affairs. That means you will be in a situation and God will pull you out of that situation. If you're like me, I gave God full reign. Look, God, if I'm down here in the situation on earth and I can't get out, come and get me. God says, say less, I will, because I don't put too much in you. Just like we have the 10 Commandments, but it's really 613 commandments. You want to see all of them, get the Torah, or you can get the Tanakh and the Kamash if you do not speak Hebrew. Okay, you can go ahead and get the Tanakh and the Kamash, and it'll break it down for you. Okay, and once you put that with the Bible and you look at everything, you see some little indiscretions. Why? Because that's the Jewish version of the Bible. And then when you see that, you like, and it opens your eyes to see things differently. Remember, I said, step across some lines and do something that you've never done. I know you're not in Islam, you're not Muslim. But why not learn a little bit of the Quran? I know you're not Jewish, but why not learn a little bit of the Tanakh and the Kamash? I know you're not Hindu, but why not learn a little bit about Kali Ma and Krishna? When you learn about them, guess what you're going to find out? They're an ascended master just like Jesus. And once you find out that, no longer is the person standing beside you your enemy, they become a brother or a sister. We know everything. Oh, and the 613 commandments, God told Israelites, there's no way possible you can keep 613 laws. They said, yes, we can, us and our children. So that's how we got caught up in this. That happened all the way back in Egypt. And then it got time for, okay, so Jesus was standing in front of the king, Pilate. And so Pilate wife said, don't you touch that man. I had a dream about that man. That light was all around that man. That man is from God. And he said, well, I'm not going to touch him then. So we asked the people, so who should I release? Barabbas or Jesus? They said Barabbas. Barabbas was a serial killer. When I say Ted Bundy, okay, that level, 10 people up, and they talking about Barabbas. Okay. And Jesus went on ahead and did what needed to be done. Why? Because it was part of the prophecy. Basically, and they said, well, us and our children. So that's how we got caught in this. Now we get an authority. Anytime we see something we don't like, we can say, mm-mm. Especially it's from leaders or those that are supposed to be, who get the opportunity to lead. Anytime you are in a leader role, people don't understand this. Anytime you are in a leader role, you are in the same office of a prophet and anyone of high ranking from God. And when you take an opportunity not to use it properly, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Look, we know everything, but we don't know anything, and that keeps us from attachments as we go through each level and lesson. So it allows you to, because you're only going to take half your wisdom, because you need to be somewhat empty, because you get to the next one. Guess what? When you get to the next one, you need to be empty so you can get filled again. So half the knowledge you have right now, you're going to end up leaving it behind, because once you get close to the end of the realm that you're in, you're going to be like, oh, so I don't need that part no more. Because you done learn something else. So you cut that off. So when you get to the new realm, now you're going to learn something else. That was taught to me by Jesus, Stove, and Issue. What does that mean? Jesus said, if you come as a little child into the kingdom of God, you will be open to release and to receive when God says to. Because little children, all right. Just like the Adjective PDF as well as the 400 values PDF, put them together and change your whole Sims character to this janky promoter game. I did. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for the juicy updates and the upcoming events. Look at my new link with the school app. I'm just getting started, so getting things together over there. But come on and visit, okay? Come on and clean up your shoes and come on and visit. I was inducted into the new class of Who's Who of 2025 and women's influential women's of 2025 and worldwide women. And I forgot that I had received an award back in 2017 for my work that I was doing with the nonprofit. What I was doing was I had a lot of help, so I was helping women come out of sex trafficking. And then I looked up, everybody was going. I was like, you know what? We still going because this is my nonprofit. Let's go. I built it for a reason. Let's keep going. Then I was helping teenage girls that came out and said they were LGBTQ. And I then helping other young girls that came out and said they was pregnant and their parents kicked them out. Those two group of girls I found out, and they was going to my daughter's school, so I was helping them getting into homes so they could be safe, and then I would check on them until they said that's good. They didn't need it no more, and then kept on going. Then I helped people that had lost everything in fires, and I had a storage unit, and people knew that I had a nonprofit, and it was giving me clothes, it was giving me shoes, whether it was for grown-ups, adults, and for children, and I would take everything and put it in my wash and dry and clean it up so it'd be ready for people, okay? Because who wants to lose everything and then everything stink? Ain't nobody got time for that. Everybody want to be treated with respect. And then beds and mattresses and dressers and everything like that, making sure that I was able to assist people. And then I would ask them, how many beds you got? They would tell me, and I was like, all right, that's the only thing you're going to need to take. Don't take nothing else, all right? They said, all right. And I let them on, go on about their business. And then I helped, I think I said, yeah, I did say domestic violence. And I helped them. And then I was helping this one family for Thanksgiving because she reached out, and I seen it on Facebook. She was like, I'm getting laid off from my job and my children and this. And I was like, okay, let's go help out. And then when I got there, I found out there was more people getting laid off on the job. So I found out their names and put it into a bowl and did it for two families. And then I found out how many children they had. And their children ended up getting two gifts each. And then I made sure that their Christmas was catered. And then after the Christmas was catered, I bought another $150 worth of groceries. Then I sent two women to therapy for 3 to 6 months. It's on my webpage. And then I then I gave them either $150 or $250 for groceries so they could keep going. Okay, my thing was to see where there was a hole at in the community and fill it. God is faithful, and I'm grateful because God said, whatever you do in private, I reward you in public. I'm thankful and grateful for everything I am. I truly am. I'm glad God ain't like man. Okay. God don't need all that fanfare. Don't forget to look at the link to get 25% off your first order. This is the company I use along with all natural remedies for my assistance for the diagnosis in 2017 of breast cancer. I didn't take any cancer treatments, just all natural things from the backyard. This 100% silver shield. I was working with a naturopathic doctor. I pulled down the list of everything that Dr. Sebi had on Dr. Sebi had on getting alkaline. I put that before my naturopathic doctor. They was like, this is great. This is a great list. However, a few things on this list you cannot have based on your blood type. I was like, okay. They was like, this will turn the acid in your belly, and we need you to remain alkaline as possible. I said, say less. So I took it with me to the grocery store or whenever I went to the farmer's market. And then my ancestor said, go to the backyard. I got that dandelion, that morning glory. Don't forget the morning glory can be smoked as the good stuff, okay? If you don't have the funds. And then I also got the crabgrass. That crabgrass, it's got that dark patch and it is real long. That long grass is what's the crabgrass. Okay, it smells like onions because it's really wild scaggs, and you cut it up and put it in your food. Oh my God, it smells so good. It's so delicious. And you put it in your food, and then all right, and then there was poke salad. Poke salad looks like lettuce and cilantro made a baby together, and it tastes kind of nutty, but also kind of minty at the same time. You gotta try it. It's really delicious. Okay, you gotta try it. Our ancestors lived off that. When I said they lived off the land, when they said they lived off the land, they lived off the land. Our ancestors was black and indigenous to this land, basically indigenous to all lands. All right, honey. Child, I'm just so thankful. I put it underneath on top of my spinach, underneath my jasmine rice with zucchini, squash, red onions, red orange, and yellow bell peppers, and every once in a while I added like maybe red meat once or twice a month because I will put my hand on the scanning system, and it's like my white blood cells was too low, and she was like, I know you don't want to do it, but I need you to eat you a little bit of meat to bring up your white blood cells because we need to make sure that your T cells is good to fight this, all right? And I said, say less, do what you need to do. Somebody else is going to say, no, don't you do that. They don't know your blood type. They don't know nothing about you. Don't allow someone to judge you, and then you listen to them and find yourself in a casket. Okay. Do what God tell you to do. Do what your body telling you to do. Okay. But also be healthy at the same time. Because we need you, because you got wisdom. Psalms 91, 1 through 6, NLT. Those who live in the shelter of the Most High will find rest in the shadow of the Almighty. This I declare about the Lord. Woo! He alone is my refuge and is my place of safety and is. He is my God and is. And I trust him 100%, for he will rescue me from every trap and did and still does, and protect me from every deadly disease and did and still does. He will cover me with his feathers and shelter me with his mighty wings. He is faithful to his promises. Let's talk about God's promises. God's promises are yes and amen at every moment. However, if you feel a pause, it is because God is asking you to become something that you have never seen before. And in order to do that, God is going to ask you, daughter, son, what do you want? You're going to say this, and if you like me, the law of opulence. And God is like, I'm going to give you everything that you said you wanted. But what I'm going to need you to do is every day, I'm going to need you to do something small to get in alignment to what you said you wanted every day. It don't matter what it is. It can even be something as small as changing your mindset. It could be changing how you see things. It could be changing your perspective. All of that goes into it as well. I said, say less. Okay. And every time I say less, I be looking at God like this. Because stuff come out of the woodwork you don't expect. Because see, when you going in life, life doesn't end up the way you expect it every day. Okay. That's why you keep going and you find a way to be grateful for everything. Okay. Even the stuff that don't feel good. My armor and my protection. I'm not afraid of the terrors of the night, nor the bullets that fly at day. I do not dread a disease that stops in darkness. Why? David told us in Psalm 23, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For thou art with me, my rod and staff. Who knew my spine and shoulder to shoulder was my cross? And this right here in the middle is where my higher self sits at the 0 point. Jesus said, pick up your cross and follow me. Little did we know it was already in our body. Honey. And then it says, and my cup runneth over. That is overflow. That is infinite overflow. Infinite. God will keep flowing. You take, you give out, God will give you some more. You take, you give out. The minute you start hoarding, you won't get nothing. Because you are already full. God only gives to the people that are constantly giving out. Ooh, it'll be the overflow. And then it says, surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Okay, go to Isaiah 53, and it says, God will send the angels to go before me to set asunder to make the crooked places straight. Honey, and God is always my real guy. Come back to Psalm 23. And it says, goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. You know why? Because God is my rear guard, being goodness and mercy for me, following up so nobody comes up on my six. And then on top of that is, check it out. Goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. You know why? Because I am the house of the Lord. Even when I leave this human vessel, I am still the house of the Lord. You know why? Because we continue to walk with the Lord. You don't ever forget, even though you in this human body, you are first a spiritual being first. You're a spiritual being first. That's why everything's happening in the spirit before it comes over here first. Okay? We're spirit beings. We live in a body and we have a soul. Nor the disaster that strikes at midday. Don't forget that even though you're in this human body and a lot of stuff is happening, you can always pray. You can always get in that gratitude. You can always get somewhere to get in connection with God because God is in you. God is using your vessel as his eyes to see the world. So give him something good to talk about. Okay. Hand over heart for affirmation. I am not society script. Say it how you want, honey. I am my own definition. I am not of this system, but a flame from God's source, the divine. I don't stress about what I can't physically fix. If I can't fix it in 15 minutes, let it go. I let go of that attachment and I monitor the use of my own energy. Monitor the use of your own energy or somebody else is going to be using it. I grew up on a farm. I grew up on a farm in a farm town and grew up on a farm. There were so many who had a particular crop, and we shared with each other. I remember the elders of the community reaching out saying, come and get some of my bushels. That meant corn, it meant collard greens, and that meant tomatoes, something. That also meant that we were finna work. So that meant put on your stuff that you would use to clean the house, come on down the road, bring your stuff with you because we finna shuck some corn, we finna do some beans. We finna do some field peas. We finna do some black-eyed peas. We finna mess around and do some stuff with some collard greens. We finna cut up some tomatoes and get it ready to stew and make some stewed tomatoes. Ooh, them things be so sweet. And make your own biscuits. Oh, my God. Or making our own jelly or making our own apple butter. Those were the days. You hear me? We would go to shuck corn, do peas, beans, and cut up vegetables, stew, can, and the elders would be sharing oral wisdom, and you just like, really? Those were the days so precious to me. The elders would pass down information, and everyone would be on the edge of their seats. I would leave there and live a different life at home, but not allowed to share it with anyone. The elders knew it and would pull me to the side and pray over me and give me words of wisdom. I would get upset and say to myself, pull me out of here. I would say that to myself, but God had a purpose. Little did I know that the experience will prepare me for what I'm living right now. Each moment is different, but things keep coming back to look over and see it again in a different way. At first, I was like, I've already done the work. What I didn't understand was that healing isn't linear. It comes back in a spiral or in a, a cylinder way. It keeps coming back. It's meant to show you another side of your life that you missed. And because you're more matured and you've learned a little bit differently. You've seen a little bit now. And so you can see it differently. I've learned now to say, what am I supposed to gain from this on this level? Is it always easy? Mm-mm. Because sometimes I don't want to put on my big girl panties. And I know there are dudes that say, I don't want to put on the briefs. I don't. Sometimes I don't want to put on my big boy briefs. But that's what it requires you to do. Excuse me, confirmation. Nothing just happens in this universe. Remember that. Nothing just happens. But what are you paying attention to? Growing up in a small town, working to assist as team members, and then coming into a world that was like life. I lived in a little home, in the home I lived in. So where I was upset with my upbringing for so long, I now thank them for preparing me for this world we now live in. I was going in cycles over and over again because I was giving and sharing too much. The thing is, when we don't slow down to see, we can end up falling apart. And see, the thing is, when we don't slow down, we get an opportunity for everything to fall apart. No, we don't want things to fall apart because that means we have to start over. But starting over is an amazing thing. I have done some amazing feats in my life, and when I had to start over, it was as if they didn't even matter. People didn't see that. Only thing they could see was who I am right now. And when I tried to share it, it was as if I was talking to a chalkboard. So I was like, just be quiet. All right. It's the thing holding us in the same patterns. And that's why you get a chance to let everything just fall to the ground and just start over. When you see something that doesn't sit right with you, ask yourself, like I do, is that in me? Even a small smidgen. See, we get to be honest and realize we're all one. And just maybe someone else's greed, anger, underhanded ways have harmed us. Then ask yourself, have I healed that little girl or boy in me that ran from home to start a new life? And maybe you didn't have a rough upbringing. Maybe you had parents who gave you everything, but they didn't give you love. Or maybe you had the upbringing like I did, and you're seeking love from other people. However, you get an opportunity to seek it from yourself first. And that allows you to go through the process of finding love in self. Is it always easy? Mm-mm. Because when you start seeing them cyclical natures of life, you like, you know what? I've already worked on this. But it's to show you a different version of yourself. Everywhere you go, they come too. Everywhere you go, that little girl and that little boy that's in you is coming with you. Waiting for you to let them out of the cellar that you put them in. Because you made vows. I will never, I ain't gonna ever. Yeah. That part of you allows you to become better because it's truly the authentic part of you. When you allow you to be able to be available for use, the perfect mask you display can be placed on the shelf to be all of you. I'm going to suggest some reading, and you can take it how you choose. Okay. The Bible in Acts 11 through 12, and if you read the Quran, I'm gonna give you this 2:14, but I think once you read that full chapter, you go, oh my God. It talks about in the Quran. It talks about persevering through trials and letting go to go forward. Don't let someone tell you what it says. See it for yourself. See the whole thing. See the whole thing. Because when I looked at it, I was like, do they know this? See it for yourself instead of letting somebody read it to you. When you read it for yourself, you get to see all the nuances and take notes and see what you receive from it. Because somebody gonna tell you what they're receiving, but what do you receive when you read it? See it for yourself and see what you understand. See, let's make it a natural thing to go find out the truth for ourselves instead of believing what others say. That way you have it the way you see it, because everyone has had a different way of life. And so if you take it how the preacher is saying it on Sunday or Wednesday nights, Sunday service or Wednesday nights, you're only taking it from their perspective. You have a whole nother perspective because you've lived a different life. And so God can share something with you that maybe you've never heard before. If you just take a moment to sit still. Woo! You get to go for yourself and check it out. Okay. And look up the information. Just look it up. Because sometimes what happens is the little simple, the Bible calls it iniquity. The simple things that we call jealousy and envy and all of that. Once you start reading the Bible for yourself, those little things just fall off because you're no longer listening to someone else say it. You're reading it for yourself and you're like, I never saw it that way before. So you start seeing life differently. But an actual check and look up the information for yourself to clear your mind. Because see, when you look up the information yourself, you see it differently. And then nobody can get over on you because now you know what it says and you wrote it down in your journal how it felt to you. Okay. Because we've all lived different things. We've all lived different lives. So God may tell you something and it really hits hard. And so when someone try to say, no, that's not what it meant, you like, no, you can say what you like, but I know what it means for me. Okay. Symptoms today. I've been feeling like I've been in a pressure cooker. My my crown and third eye. Child, I feel like I am in a pressure cooker like some collard greens. And you know how I get anything and it start percolating, it says it is ready. Child, my third eye and to my occipital anterior area in the back. It's a health term. But you know, interior means in the back of. Honey, I heard, don't stop believing. Going on a boulevard. Come on, Journey, you ain't ready. Then I heard, you're next in line for a miracle. And then she said, a still start voice says, be strong. Sometimes struggle is in my will. He's never late. He's always on time. Get ready for your miracle. Move to the front of the line. Today is your day. Boom, 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 boom. Today is your day. Boom, 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 boom. That's the piano. For me, miracle. your miracle. Hush your fuss. That's on Pastor Shirley season. I worked out, and then I got like a tinge in my hip, and I stopped for a second. I said, "What's going on?" And apologized to myself, and I said, "I don't know if I got something going on." I said, "Well, self, I apologize. Did I do something to you?" Sure. Just to making sure I wasn't holding it against anybody. And I was like, "Well, Lord, let me release it." Because, your hips say that, that's where you hold emotions. So I said, "And I release anybody else I got any issue with. I don't think I do, but just in case something came up that I don't know nothing about." Honey. And when I tried it again, it was gone. I said, look at that. I said, so that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to just start forgiving myself and releasing people. Sometimes the pain is a forgiveness waiting on your lips to show up in your body as well. I'm not perfect, just picking up on my body cues. Okay. I heard he's an on time God. Yes, he is. Oh, he's an on time God. Yes, he is. Job said he may not come when you want it, but he'll be there right on time. He's an on time God. Yes, he is. Look at the children of Israel and Pharaoh's army. There was water all around them, and Pharaoh on their back. But I know where God stepped in and built the highway just like that. Let me tell you, he's an on-time God. Yes, he is. I was singing these songs and winning the praise. I was like, wait a minute. I'm feeling myself. I felt like both my grandmama was in here with me, sitting on each side. I went in a full praise session for like 15, 20 minutes. Oh, I got caught up in so much joy. It just felt so good. It felt like they was right here with me. It just felt so good. And it felt so warm and inviting. Yeah. And so many other things happened today. It was just so beautiful to have that moment. Even if they're no longer here in human form. I just had me a good old time in here today. Okay. Sometimes that old school music take you right where you need to be. You hear me? I know it did for me. Try it out for yourself. Oh, that was Dottie Peoples, just in case I didn't say. On time, God. Everyone gets the opportunity to do their own work and see things in their own timing. It's hard when you love folks, but in their own timing. Okay, keep going. They get the opportunity to decide just like you did. I know you care for them, but what are they showing you? Are you really paying attention? Some people want to connect only when they feel you growing. Let them go to learn their own lessons. They will hold you down for moving forward. Just let go. It will be okay. God has you and them. Trust that. Everyone must work out their own salvation with fear and trembling. Trust in God. Don't carry someone else's. Don't carry someone else's battle. Philippians 2 and 12. Save yourself and keep going. Don't hold on to someone else's stuff. Man, it'll hold you down. You won't be able to move like you want to. I'm a witness on that. James 1:19 through 21 NLT. Don't allow anyone to take your power or your energy. Understand this, my dear brothers and sisters. We must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Because human anger, it doesn't produce the righteousness God desires. Because there's righteous anger that'll cause you to do something to change the situation, but that human anger that'll cause you to put somebody 6 feet. So get rid of all the negative thinking and humbly accept the word that God has planted in your hearts. Okay, for it, I don't know what he put in there, for it has a power to save your souls. I know what he put in my heart. Verses like the Quran 17:53 and 4:148 highlight the importance of speaking kindly, avoiding slander and gossip, and speaking the truth. Are we doing that? Just like 2:54 verses emphasize that it's not for creation that is under Allah to make decisions saying it ain't no better than Allah. It requires the believers that are under Allah to surrender, which is the message of faith and surrender to divine authority. That's the same thing we're doing under God. So why are we fighting each other? Oh, because it's not worded the same way. And because someone told us you was against us. Everybody ain't against us. It's just we're learning the same thing, but we're speaking it in a different language. It's just like leaving the United States and then going to China. They speak a whole nother language. But when you get to gist of the Mandarin, y'all are speaking the same language. You can understand each other, but until you decide to learn from each other, you can't learn, you can't communicate. You see what I'm saying? So it's a whole thing to keep us separate, because if you ever realize we dating the same dude, yeah, do we know who we really are? It's time to get into our studies, whatever we're in, pray, meditate, and find out who we really are. Be so secure that when things come to steal your joy, you bounce back quicker. Okay, each time. It's like you almost want to set it up so they can have a blind date and we all in the room at the same time. You can't backpedal in. I'm still saying, you know why I'm still saying? Because it's my birthright. I'm worthy of love. That is my birthright. That is my spiritual birthright. That is my human birthright. And it is my blood bought right. Okay. I am worthy of a life I love. What? I am worthy just because I exist. That's it. I don't need to do anything. I don't need to prove I'm worthy. I am worthy. I'm worthy of a rounded, wealthy life. Honey, let me tell you something. You ain't got to go to no therapist to know you worthy. You are worthy. Just you get the opportunity to believe it and stand in it. I am worthy of the dream that is in my heart. You best believe if it's in here, oh, it's coming to pass because God put it in here. I didn't put that covenant in there. God did it. I release timelines that's no longer for me. Amos said we can only walk together if we agree. If we no longer agree, guess what? We cannot walk together. I don't have no I don't have no bitterness, I don't have no anger, I don't have no frustration, no irritation. I'm just done. I gave and I gave and I didn't get anything back. And I just pulled all my energy back and I said, well, I'm gonna take my basketball and I'm going home. Because thank you, but no thank you. Okay. I have no art with you, none whatsoever. Only thing I'm gonna say is I send nothing but cleansing and purifying energy as you go your way. We are Lot and Abraham. You choose a way, I'm going the other way. It's just not gonna go down no more. I care too much about myself to be overgiving to anything. 47 on the clock. I'm not gonna be giving to anything that's not giving back to me. If it can't give back to me, I'm gonna have to walk on somewhere. ICC Fitness said, "Ooh, you could just walk on, keep on." Woo! I release the timelines that require me to shrink. If it's gonna require me not to be all of my quirky self, my whole self, I understand there's certain rooms you in and you get to be professional. But if I can't be my quirky self and still be professional, why am I in that room? Because that could cause me to sign stuff or give myself away to something that's not worth my time. There were so many rooms I walked into. I could have been so much further if I would have just done what they asked me to do. If I'd have got on my knees, if I would have bent over, if I'd have done all that stuff, I'd have been so much further. But I said, I respect myself too much. No, thank you. Have a great day. And if I told you the rooms I was in, it would mess your head up. I'm not rushing or placing pressure on myself. I'm just open for clear communication and wisdom on my next move in stillness. Let me tell you something about God. You get still, God will give you so much wisdom. See, when you have respect for yourself, you just think differently. I walk forward lighter, clearer, and deeply supported. I'm never alone. I have my ancestors, angels, and God. It is a threefold cord that can't be easily broken. I'm so secure in knowing even if I'm walking by myself, I'm never truly alone. Man, my ancestors come out the bushes doing guerrilla warfare. Child, I ain't got nothing to do with that. They from the underworld. Some of them is in the underworld. I don't have no control over that. The angels always bring me something amazing that causes my heart to light up. Okay, let me take that back. I do have authority over the spirit realm. But when they tell me we got this, I say, I ain't got nothing to do with that. God said, don't worry about it, it's taken care of. Okay. I am aware enough to pause, breathe, and sit still for the next move. I just know that I am loved in every way that love can show itself. Let me tell you, there's 101 million ways love can show itself. What you gonna do? Let love show you that it loves you. And just receive. People go out of their way to do me good because of the favor of God on my life. Rules, laws, regulations, and any red tape is removed from me. It is said, we don't usually do this. They just can't help it. I can't help it either. But if God say no, my intuition say no, and my ancestors say, I wish you would get up and go over there. Honey, my hands is up and I'm surrendering. Woo, it's getting hot. I have miracles every day, and uncommon blessings find me without me even searching for them. They just fall upon me because I'm aligned. Once you start lining up what God asks you to do, them little simple things, stuff will start falling on you. Spiritual blessings start falling on you. Physical blessings. I don't consent to any energy control. I'm grounded, safe, and fully in control of myself. Untouchable and fully sovereign in myself. All cords are removed from me. That is cut, snip, snip, burn, burn. And I sever the cords of connection because we don't agree. So why are we walking together? You can't. I am worthy of my dreams and everything my heart desires. If it's in here, you best believe it's gonna come to pass. Because even if I'm crawling to where I'm going, I'm gonna just have to keep going. I might rest, but I'm not quitting. I allow clear thinking to find me without fighting for it. I don't have to fight for nothing. It's mine. If it's mine, it's gonna show up right here. I don't have to fight with you. I don't have to compete with you. I don't have to get jealous of yours because I don't covet nothing you have. I am worthy of seeing all my dreams come true while seeing the light in darkness in any moment. If I can get up here and change my perspective about this situation, I can change my life in seconds. I saw this somewhere and I said, that's mine. All things come to me in perfect, mature timing for my highest outcome and for the good of all. Because if I win, you win. If you win, I win. Why? Because we're going to share what we are allowed to share, because most of it's going to go in the journal. Money comes back to me multiplied on every dollar that was spent. Double, triple, quadruple, 100-fold on everything that was spent, taken, and stuff that was taken I don't know nothing about. And anything from my ancestors that was left behind, I take that too. I'm willing to open space for things I truly want. By being gentle with myself, I'm intentional with love for myself. I have been truly working on that and checking in with myself and asking myself, are you okay? I know it seems weird, but check in on yourself. You be surprised what your body will start telling you. I saw this on Google and I said, okay, thank you, Google. And I put some seasoning and some hot sauce on it. Spirit, if it's in my highest good, I remove all energy that doesn't belong to me from my energy field, because some things are left in your energy field that keep you on track until you don't need it anymore. And I send it back to the rightful owner, cleansed, pure, and purified, no matter where we originally met, universe, world, timeline, dimension, or realm. Even if we was a speck of dust or a space rock, I sever the cord of connections. The lessons have been learned. I release you to find your own way. Okay. I call all my energy fragments back to me now, like Magneto. My stuff come back. I am free. I am free. I am free. Okay. I don't need to hold on to nothing. If it's trying to leave, let it go. I now release all energies, traumas, and patterns, and anything from my ancestors that's not in alignment with my highest good across all timelines, dimensions, and realms. And I call in everything that they didn't claim. Okay? I am free. I am free. I am free. I am free. I sit in peace while I trust the process, and I do not rush the process. Because can we wait when it gets silent? Because you know what that means? The proctor is in the room. And when the proctor is in the room, can't nobody talk because it's test taking time. Just get your number two pencil, and get to working. Or this new era, get your laptop and sit still and get to working. I'm doing speaking engagements and podcasts that bring transformation. My signature topic: helping visionaries reconnect, reinvent through rebirth, and rise with confidence. We're all visionaries with our personal dreams, and we just forgot about them surviving life. Pull that dream out of the back seat, put it in the passenger seat, hit it with a defibrillator, and say clear, and bring that dream back to life. Teaching individuals how to return to themselves, quiet the noise, and live boldly on their own terms. Guiding through mindset shifts, emotional release, and soul level understanding. Helping us all navigate reinvention, rebirth, setting boundaries, and rise into our own purposes with confidence, because confidence is the missing substance to faith. Hi, my name is Renetta Cheston, the owner and founder of Life Success Results LLC, Soul Igniter, Trauma Overcomer, Holistic Spiritual Strategist. I work with the whole being for my level of training and education, mind, spirit, soul, and body. I have a bachelor's and a master's degree in healthcare to understand and comprehend mental and public health, because you have a public health problem, you got a mental health problem. Because if there's a fire, somebody's in shock. If there's a flood, somebody's in shock. They don't know what to do next, and some people freeze. Okay? Massage therapy, Reiki and sound healing, holistic practitioner. We pull out everything from the rooter to the two, all those impurities, heavy metals. A human design practitioner, we go back to the beginning to see what your purpose. We come back and look at that generational baggage and start putting it out. When I was given this task to start having uncomfortable conversations with others, I knew then my path would be different and probably will be a little standoffish until we have done our own personal work. But I didn't stop. I asked myself uncomfortable questions every day to get out of old patterns. That's how you get out of old patterns. You start asking yourself stuff. You say it out loud so your ears can hear it. I do the work every day, and it's not always pretty or easy. But I wake up to confront the areas in me in love that need a facelift. And sometimes, you know what that is? Me resting, meditating, excuse me, confirmation burp, and just sitting here and asking myself, are you okay in this moment right now? How are you feeling? I don't want to hear no lazy Susan lie. I need to know how you're feeling. And my body will tell me before my mouth can. So I can go forward. What will you do? What are you afraid of losing? Is it that once you see that colonialism and imperialism has played everyone, you won't know what to do if we're not fighting each other anymore? Because we could be working together as a team once we realize we're all talking the same language. We're just using different words. How about we find ways to have conversations that cause a pause to see things differently in all areas? This will cause us to quit blaming someone else for our problems and see where we truly have missed it. Because where we miss it is we give someone all our power to think for us and we quit thinking for ourselves. We can only meet people fully where we have met ourselves. Remember that next time when you say you want a real relationship. Real relationships require that full mask to be on the table and off your face. And to truly be honest, we have many adults who were never taught how to feel safe. So they seek safety and validation outside of themselves because of a plethora of challenges that happened and occurred during childhood processes that never finished processing. So I ask you, what emotion from your childhood pushed you in a corner and you made a vow to not ever be again? See, the vows we all made is playing out on the big stage. Just look around. We can go protest and speak our minds. At the same time, that little girl or boy on the inside of us is asking us, will you sit with me to heal? That's our true shadow. Because what you're running from is the little girl or the little boy that you tucked away because everybody said they were too much. They are too wild. They're too untamed. You need to tame that down some. Oh, no, no, no. You can't do this in this room. No, 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 no. You can't do this in this room. You can't do this. You can't do this. And what they did is they made you small. And you so small now that you don't even speak up. I'm being commissioned to aid in the process by sharing how I overcame everything meant to keep me from coming into my true identity. I had to believe in myself first and then God. See, God is on the inside of me in my heart. But I had to find me first. What does that mean? I had to ask myself some difficult questions that were hard and they brought a lot of tears. And I didn't realize why I was crying so much. I was crying so much because it was the first time I really asked myself these questions. How you feeling? No, no, I don't want no BS answer. I want the truth. How are you feeling? And my body would just start acting up. And I was like, okay, now I know. Tense shoulders, grinding my jaws, eyes were closed. Why are you not looking at yourself? It's just you and you. And I said, okay. And that would be my answer. And I said, okay, now we're going to find out what's going on. See, God is on the inside of us. And again, I had to find me. Like, why is that triggering you? No, we're not going past this and we find out why that's triggering you. It shouldn't even made you feel that way, but it took you somewhere. See, we're taught that God is on the outside of us and coming in the by and by. No, God is on the inside of us. Okay, waiting to be tagged into our battle. The battle is the Lord's. It's not ours. Okay. You see, Ephesians 6 says we're fighting against principalities, rulers of the darkness, and spiritual wickedness in high places. This is spirit being. That's why we use 2 Corinthians 10 and 5. I cast down every thought that exalts itself against the knowledge of God, and I bring it into the captivity of Christ, ready to avenge all disobedience. What? With Christ consciousness. How's your fuss at? That's 2 Corinthians 10 and 5, just in case you want to know. This is when negative thinking has gone on so long that now it's the norm in society, or what the Bible will call multitude. The multitude is how society thinks on a whole. This is what every ascended master had to fight against: Jesus, Buddha, Hecate, Kalima, Krishna. Okay, call them all out. The mindsets of us who complain but don't want to change or do the work because it seems like it's so big, but only thing you get to do is just work on your part of the story. You don't have to work on everybody's part. That's why you're overwhelmed. That is not your job. Your job is just you. And it causes a dip in morale because you don't know how to get out. Why? Because it's ancestral or generational. So to get out, it requires one to get uncomfortable and get past the plateau of complacency. This is how we've always done it. Yeah, we get past that. And we get to deal with this thing that's been on this planet way too long. Racism, colonialism, imperialism. Because as we see, everybody's affected now. There is not one color of people that is not affected. Because what we saw play out on the big stage got everybody's feathers ruffled. So now you see, there is no playing with this. So to be complacent or complicit is saying you see it, but you don't want to get involved. So that means you don't want no change. But you say you won't change. But do you want change? See, these are the things you have to ask for yourself. These are the hard questions. No one can answer these for you. There are some freebies and a link for my podcast with the Women's Leveling Up in May. And then I was featured in 3 magazines, September, October, and December. Check those out. Look in the description below to find the things that truly light you up and leave everything else behind. I cannot wait to talk to you soon. Remember, I placed the link to my own personal bookstore down there as well. My books incorporate the essence of God. If you want to feel the presence of God, read In the Garden with the Father, Understanding True Intimacy. Okay, because true intimacy is when you spend time with God, not another person. I'm going to make, okay, page 36. You've grown and so have they. Don't fear, just go forward in faith. Meaning, let things go. When it's time to go, let it go. Okay? And then I also have my other book, Befriending the Shadow, Unshakable Peace, Unstoppable Change. Both of those books are shadow activity books. Okay? So you get a word of knowledge. Then you get an exercise fun. Then you get a shadow question, not so fun. So now you get an opportunity to sit and look at yourself. When you get tired of looking at yourself, turn some more pages, and then you will see a color page. Fun again. Okay, so what you get to do is you get to color. And God asked him to keep it between the age of 5 and 10. Why? Because most childhood wounding happens between the age of 5 and 10. By the age of 7, it is solidified in your system. By the age of 10, it is really solidified. By the age of 21 and 25, it is now your responsibility to walk yourself out of it because you are considered an adult. You can use therapy or however you choose to do it. There are so many ways to get free. Okay. Then the fifth thing you get, it is 22 chapters per book. So you have a lot of fun. You get 4 pages of drawing, sketching, having so much fun, doing whatever you want to do with it. Because the closer you get to God, I'm just going to be honest with you. You start having Stranger Things moments or X-File moments where it is just, you try to explain it to people and people look at you like a dog and with the head cocked to the side, you be like, never mind. Until you hear somebody say, you know what happened to me? And you like, ooh, there they go. I can talk to them. Okay. Because it's hard to explain to somebody ain't never been there. No matter what your background, because God don't care about your background. You know why? Because he already knows the hairs on your head. Even if you just got peach fuzz, he know all them peach fuzz hairs. Notebooks and journals for all, coloring books that help in meditating and recalibrating the mind. I'm excited about this venture. Why? Because I'm in charge of my own intellectual property, even though I have a lot of books and a lot of product on Amazon. But only my special journals are on my bookstore. Don't forget the 105 spiritual laws that govern the earth. Don't forget also, we're no longer underneath the law, we're under love and grace. Okay. God's ability to get involved with human affairs. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter for the juicy updates and the upcoming events. Don't forget about the Adjective PDF along with the 400 values PDF, put them together and change your whole Sims character to this janky promoter game. Look at my new link for the school app. I'm just getting things started over there to get things together. Come on over and visit. I was inducted into the new class of Who's Who for 2025, Influential Women for 2025, Worldwide Women. And I forgot about what I was inducted in 2017 until I started cleaning up and started getting ready to hang stuff up on the wall. This is what I received for the work I was doing with my nonprofit, Refuge Women's Transition Center. I was helping women and teenage girls to come out of sex trafficking. I had a lot of help, and then I looked up, everybody was gone, but I was like, God gave this to you to be your nonprofit, so keep going. And then I was helping young girls, young teenage girls that came out and said they were LGBTQAI to their family, or young girls that came out and said they was pregnant and their parents kicked them out. I put them in teenage places so they could be, and sometimes I had room where I was at, okay? But if I didn't have room, I would just send them there. And because where we were at, the city where we was at, it was sex trafficking central. You don't do that to your child. And then people be out there, oh, my baby's gone. Don't do that. So then I also was helping domestic violence, and we lost 2 women because they went back more than once. There's so much you can do. You can't hold people against their will. Everybody don't know that, but you can't hold people against their will. It's against the law. And then I was helping people who lost everything in fires and floods. And so what I was doing, I had a storage. First, it was just in my house, and then it got so big, I had to get a storage unit. I had beds, I had mattresses, I had shoes. Because see, people knew I had a nonprofit, and whenever they had extra stuff, they would just give it to me. And people was moving out of the state, and they was like, "We can't take this with us." So I would just hold it because I was like, I know somebody gonna need it. And as soon as I would put it in there, somebody would need it. They were like fires and floods, and so I was like, "How many rooms you need?" They would take what they need. I said, only take what you need because somebody else is coming. And there was a huge apartment fire. So, and then I had like the toiletries to help people out. And I would give them the toiletries with a toothbrush and everything that they need, and the razors and shaving cream, and the little things, just the simple things you forget about. And then I gave them a gift card. And then don't forget, I gave the women fingernail polish and fingernail polish remover and um sanitary napkins and stuff like that, because you don't think about that. When people lost everything, they don't have anything. And I gave them like a $20 gift card that was refillable, so they could go and refill it how they want to. after they done spent their money, refill it how they want to, so they can use it whenever they go out and about, so they could get underwear and stuff like that. Because they was getting help by the Red Cross, but at the same time, how long are they gonna take? You need underwear right now. Okay, you need help right now. So I would just help where I saw there was a hole at. Okay. And I was helping this one family for Thanksgiving, and she told me that everyone just about at their job was getting laid off because they was moving it overseas. And I was like, oh my goodness. So the name she gave me, I put it in a bowl and shook it up, and I took two names out, found out their children, gave their children two toys for Christmas. And then I made sure that Christmas dinner was catered. And then I bought $150 worth of groceries for them for that month, just to hold them over until, so while they was looking for a job, that's one less thing they had to think about. I know how that feels because I've been homeless before. And when you homeless, you remember the things you wish you'd have had. No one there to assist you on those moments. You see what I'm saying? And when there's nobody to assist you on those moments, you think about all. So I remember those moments, and I was just like, I know what that felt like to me. So I stepped in to assist the best way I could with what I had. Honey, when I tell you, and I took pictures of certain things, but there are some things that's off limits to me. I won't take pictures of women that are coming out of sex trafficking that is shysting to me. Teenage girls, I just won't do that. And to me, it didn't feel good, so I just didn't do it. But I took pictures of the people that I gave furniture to, the teenage girls that I gave, or the people that I gave clothes to for their family, stuff like that. I took pictures like that and put it on my website. But outside of that, I didn't do that because it just didn't feel right to me. And I don't go against anything that goes against what's in here. Okay. Because if it goes against your heart, it says, by your words you are justified, and by your words you are condemned. And it says, don't allow your heart to condemn you. Okay. And I'm glad that God doesn't need fanfare. I am so glad, because God said, whatever you do in private, I reward you in public. God is faithful, and I'm thankful for everything I am. Don't forget to look at the link to receive 25% off your first order. This is the company that I use again, along with all natural remedies for my assistance for the diagnosis of breast cancer in 2017. They told me I had 6 months to live. I didn't take no cancer treatment. I didn't take no chemo. I didn't take none of that stuff. I told the doctor, I said, you a lie. The devil is a lie. I rebuke that. And he said, well, this is what's going on. It's all on your left-hand side. I said, I rebuke that in the name of Jesus. I curse it to the root. And I said, I bind up every disease, every germ, every bacteria, every tumor, every growth, and I curse it to the root, and I send it back to the pit of hell from which it came. I loose the blood of Jesus, and I loose the hand of God, and I take full responsibility for what I did to this body, because God, you were looking through this body, and my body is supposed to be the vessel of the living God, and I repent for how I have treated this body. And I just started treating it better. Okay. And I did a 183-degree turn. They said, what you doing? I said, I'm putting my order in. So when I come back with my testimony and did. Okay, so I went home and did what God said. He said, get that dandelion, get that morning glory. And when I said that morning glory, you can dry it out and it'll be that. Okay. Just in case you run out of funds. All right. And then, just so you know, there was more in that peace pipe than just weed. All right. So, and then that crabgrass is that the darkest part of your grass, and then it's got them long pieces that grow that you looking at like, what is that? Well, that's what's crabgrass. And if you dig it up, it is like scallions. It's wild onions. Our ancestors lived off that. Back in the day, when they said they lived off the land, they really lived off the land because they didn't have much. And then also that poke salad looked like lettuce and cilantro had a baby together, and it's serrated around the edges. It's kind of nutty at the same time. It's got a minty flavor to it. It is so different. You got to try it out for yourself, okay? I put it on top of my spinach, underneath my jasmine rice, and that jasmine rice wilted it, but it was still crunchy, so it was so good. It went on the inside with the spinach. With the zucchini and the squash and the red onions, red, orange, and yellow bell peppers, and added some seafood every once in a while for some omega-3s. But then every once in a while, my naturopathic doctor was like, because she was like, this is not working for your blood type. I'm going to need you once or twice a month to have like some red meat. She said, I know you don't want to hear it, but in order to fight this particular disease we're going against, we need you alkaline and we need your white blood cells to be on point. And we need these T cells to be at a certain level. I said, say less. I'm trying to stay here. Okay. Again, this is your blood type. Naturopathic doctors have a way to scan your hand. And then they can tell you your blood type. They can tell you what's missing in your body, what you need in your body. That's why I went with this company, because it was all natural. Everything was 100%, and it's ran by naturopathic doctors and herbalists. So I didn't have anything to be concerned about. That was my biggest thing. Okay, that's why I trusted. Other than that, I just stayed natural. My God, God is so good. And I'm learning something new every day. Every day, my ancestors are putting something before me every day. And I'm so grateful for it. Woo, I don't take it for granted. I'm so grateful. Father God, I just want to thank you for your word, for your message, for your care, for your understanding, for your hugs, for your correction. Yes, I thank you for the butt whoopings, because the butt whoopings let me know that you didn't give me over to Romans 1, which is a reprobate mind, for me to figure this out on my own. You did not lead me down here to figure this out on my own. You said surrender and you have a better way. It may not always feel good, but your way brings me out of situations, and I thank you for it. I thank you, Father God, that they said we are disenfranchised and that we are the minority, but we know better. Father God, we thank you that we sitting over here playing Space Hump and Uno with the raggediest cards, and they said, pull your stuff up by your bootstraps, and they came and took our boots and our shoestrings, and then you mess around and say, go get that bamboo. We made shoes out of bamboo and got some vines and figured it out. Like, we was like Jeffro out here in this thing. And they said, wait a minute, we took everything from you. How are you still making it? God over here, because we got God. Because we got God. That's why. Honey, we out here doing everything God had told us to do. And we over here winning just like it. And I just want to say thank you for being here, because you could have been anywhere else in the world. But you decided to be here. I love you and I love the Lord. Have a great evening. Good night.